stand up for me this morning. Welcome, welcome. Well, we're going to start off with Chris, because Chris has a big party at his office at Rent Pros, and he is dressed up as a seminar junkie. He's got Tony Robbins stuff, he's got investment stuff, he's got Firewalker cap, he's a seminar junkie for Halloween. And so they're doing a huge breakfast or something. All his staff is going crazy. They're having fun. So he's kind of excited to get back. But what can you tell us in the 5 minutes briefly that you have with us that's going on in the world of investment, real estate, property, whatever you want to share? The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, we did a seminar last week. Had a pretty good crowd. It was called Rent Control and How It Affects Realtors. And I know you guys keep hearing me talk about rent control. It really does make some big changes in the way that you guys work with buyers of real estate, investment property. You got to be careful what you tell them when you say, hey, yeah, you can get in and raise the rents, and here's this. Oh, no, you can't. And if you start saying that, you can end up in some problems. Or you have a list of property, and the owner says, well, there's a tenant living there. Let's get them out. You really need to check with an attorney or us. And we'll tell you how to get them out without getting sued. Because, let me tell you, the new just cause eviction rules, anyone's heard of that name, that just cause eviction? You've heard that term? It's a strange term. It means you can't move somebody out without certain justifications, only like 5 reasons. Selling the property is not considered a justifiable reason to move the tenant out. They have lifetime rights in a lot of properties now.
Unless they're violating one of those 5, they're in your property.
So, right, and so how do you get them out? You got to pay them. It's called relocation.
You induce them to leave.
Yes.
Like the banks would to get people out of their own bank repo properties.
And
they would pay to get them out.
And it's required minimum of 1 month's rent, but that of course goes up. And in the Bay Area, it's very common to have to pay tenants $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 per tenant to move. So husband and wife can be $20,000. Anyway, it's serious stuff, folks. We're going to do the seminar again. I'll let you guys know. Maybe we can come out to offices and do it. But
I love what you said, though. You said something very profound. You're looking at buying this duplex. They're getting $1,100 on each side. Like, oh my gosh, these are rent for $1,500 a side, no problem. That's where you stepped in. They buy the duplex. They find out they can't raise the rent. They go, look at your email, look at your text.
Oh, yes.
And then that's where we step in as agents going, not knowing the laws, so please don't say that, because maybe you can't raise the rent, is what Chris is saying.
You may not be able to, right.
Or hey, this one on the right, we'll evict them. We'll give them a 60-day notice to get them out. So, but they bought it. Debbie said I could do this. Craig said I could do this. You're like, So, is that good information you just share with us? All right, thank you, Chris.
Quick question? Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So what about the end of a 2-year lease or something? You can raise the rent or get that out? Or no?
Under a 2-year lease, you can increase your rent, but you can't just say it's time to move.
You can't just ask for the...
Not without one of those reasons, no, unless you want to pay relocation. Yeah. Not all properties are under rent control. We go over that in the seminar. But
Yeah, how many properties do you manage in Sacramento? Is it over 1,000?
No, we're growing right now. We've been adding like 30, 40 a month, so we're just peaking at about 1,000 right now.
1,000 properties. So they have a little bit of experience in this area. And this matters to you as an agent, because you will meet people who want to buy their first cute little house in downtown Roseville or downtown Lincoln. And then you start opening your mouth like, yeah, not a problem. Well, it's a problem. So thank you for sharing that
All right,
with
well,
us.
thanks for having me, Brent.
Hey, wait, aren't we going to your office here in a little while? Or do we
Yeah,
have that on the books?
Yeah, I spent all weekend on a jackhammer putting plants in.
The 21st of November?
I think it is the 21st.
So just so everyone knows, right before Thanksgiving, Chris is going to make his favorite Thanksgiving meal for us. Just kidding. Set him up. There'll be turkey and stuffing and that. Great.
Yeah,
but we're going to be at Rent Pros. They're by Sunrise over, where Spaghetti Factory is on North Sunrise? Spaghetti Factory? It's across the street.
Right across
Bob's Car Wash is there. So we're going to go to their office. They're going to put on a fun time. We're going to do the team meeting there just to see his operations. Thank you, Chris. Have a good day. Give me a hand. Okay. Alicia has something really cool to share with you today. But before you do, I'm gonna take the floor a little bit, because I also prepared. I was in El Paso, Texas last night And then I flew to Phoenix, then I got home at midnight and up at 5 a.m. Run out and I'm gonna go inside. I feel great. My wife's like, I go, you were in bed and you were in bed when I left, in bed when I got home, and she was 8 a.m. I go, no, you've been here for over 8 hours. She goes, I'm exhausted. I'm like, really? Because I had 5 hours and I'm like fired up, you know, I'm like ready to go. Thank you, God, for the energy He gives me. So, what I did prepare some notes for you. So, I have a question for you guys. What's the one thing you could do in your real estate business that would be the highest and best use of your time? Like, what's the one thing, the very one thing? I've chummed the waters. Is it show property? I think that is so powerful. There's one. Is it, and we're going to go around and ask people, is it write an offer? I mean, just rubber meets the road. You're writing offers. Like, if you could put your finger, is it organizing your CRM? Databases are incredibly important long-term for your success. Is it doing that? Is it going on a listing appointment? Hey, you gotta list the last. I mean, these are all, like, this is gonna be hard for you guys to answer. Is it signing a listing appointment? Not just going on a listing appointment, but they sign, date it, bam, you get the listing, you do that. I mean, wow, that's pretty good. Is it negotiating a purchase agreement, putting a home in escrow? Okay, you didn't just go on the listing appointment, you didn't just show property, you didn't just get the listing signed, you didn't just write an offer, you actually got it all submitted. If you're the listing agent, you work with the buyer, and you open an escrow, baby. How is that the highest and best use of your time? Is it exceptional customer service? How important is it that people feel you got their back? And they're like, oh, I'm worried about, I need to talk to a contractor. Let's call my contractor right now, Will Mescal. Boom, here you go. And then, oh man, I gotta call air conditioning guy. Let's call Dave, my AC guy. Boom, here you go. And I'm worried about my loan situation. I don't know if I trust Bank of America or Chase Wells Fargo. Let's call Alicia. And to be such a resource and to have a high, make them a raving fan. How important is that? Is that the highest message of your time? How about this? How about your understanding, a high level understanding of the purchase contract or a listing agreement? Is that important? I wrote down these things. Closing the sale, not just opening escrow. How important is it to close? Remember Jerry Maguire? Show me the money, Jerry. You know, actually closing the sale. How about this? Is it setting goals? Is it making plans? Is it problem solving? Is it being a peacemaker when things get stressful? How important are these skill sets, and which one is the highest and best use? Which one is really going to have the most profound impact on your real estate business for the rest of your life? Of all those, or maybe what I did mention, who wants to go first? I chummed the water. Yes.
Personal development, I think is that.
Personal development. Excellent. Outstanding. Alicia, you raised your hand.
Lead generation.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Anybody else?
How about just building relationships?
Building relationships. Excellent.
How about negotiating the deal?
Negotiating a deal. Excellent.
Reaching out to your sphere.
Ooh, said by a 20+ year veteran. Reaching out to your sphere. Okay. Anybody else want to take a crack? So here's the answer. They're all phenomenal, and sadly, they're all things you need to learn to do, right? But it's just one thing at a time. When I was new, I had to learn how to meet people. I chose open houses for that venue. Then I had to go, oh my gosh, how do I get them to actually look at property though? Then I had to learn how to do that. How do I get them to make an offer? I've been showing them property for half a year. I got to get them to pull the trigger. Remember the pros, Phil's back there. How many years have you been doing this, Phil?
16.
16 years. Remember when you were new and you're like, how do you get somebody to make an offer? But then you you get a feel, you know, it's like fishing, you're fly fishing, you kind of feel the line, wham, and you go, it's just an experiential thing, right? Snow skiing, anything. So, I lost my train of thought. Let's go with that. Snow skiing. Yeah, so these are all really, oh yeah. So you crawl, then you walk, then you run. So first it's meeting people, and then whether it's buyers or sellers, and then you gotta, for me, I started with buyers, and how do I show property, then how do I actually get them to write an offer, then how do I get an offer accepted? There's 3 offers on that property and I lost. I hate losing to multiple offers. And they're like, oh my gosh, I get accepted. Now how do I get them not to get cold feet, freak out, and get out of the deal because the home inspection would scare them, right? And how do I keep them in the deal? How do I get them with a great lender like Alicia? And then how do I make the escrow process smooth so they enjoy it and they want to refer me and use me the rest of their life to be their realtor for life? And then, right, all these things we have to learn, but the good news is If you're new, you just need to learn how to meet people and pick up clients. That's where you start. Don't worry about your database right now. You learn those things later. Don't worry about being an expert in the contract right now. You gotta crawl, then you walk, then you run. And so the good news, it's actually really fun, really easy. It's like watching Fred Astaire dance. You know, they make it look easy. They remember those old movies and they glide across the floor and Bing Crosby and all that stuff. And that's what real estate is like. It becomes fluid, it becomes fun, it becomes amazing. But my opinion, the one skill that can do it all, that I've seen it do it all, and I agree, personal development, I love that one. Whoever said that, was that you, Mike? That was huge. But I've seen people without personal development kill it in real estate because they acquired one skill and they mastered it. Anybody know what it is? What is it?
Habits.
Nope, it's close. Alicia said it. It's lead generation. It gets down to, and who's the number one mortgage broker in Sacramento at 5,000? Right there, sitting at this table for a reason. I've only let 2 people sit at this table in 14 years that were in the mortgage side of the industry, and they're both very successful at what they do. And so that is my key to you. If you really want to not be frustrated with real estate, you need to put your foot on the gas pedal of nail that thing to the floor, stitch it to the floor, and you figure it out once and for all. It'll change your life forever. Because I've seen people do that and not do the personal development and succeed while in real estate. Now, personal development is important because you'll just become a wealthy jerk, right? you gotta, you know, anybody know any rich jerks, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, let me tell you what. I'll remember 14 years ago, a guy living outside of Grass Valley on 10 acres with a 6,000 square foot home and all the toys and bells and whistles. He goes, I'm the most miserable human being in the world. He had money, he had wealth, but he didn't work on himself. He's admittedly, he didn't do things right with his wife, who he's no longer married to, and you know, whatever that is. But he goes, man, I traded all. And so here's the good news. You got to learn. The key is lead generation, personal development, 1,000%. But I'm telling you right now, if you will do this, so don't worry about, because you're like, well, I don't know the contract. I don't know, how am I going to write an offer? What's a listing presentation? I didn't even mention like a luxury listing presentation, commercial, all the different things. Here's what I want all of you to focus on. Here's what will change your life. The one thing is you got to get a little crazy about lead generation. I don't do a lot of talking about rev share, but because it's like riding a bike or swimming. Once you know how to swim, it's kind of hard to drown. Right? You're gonna swim unless you get tired or you choke on water. You're gonna swim. Once you get on a bike, remember when you first got on a bike? I remember in Chula Vista, Dad. We grew up with my mom and dad. For you to know my parents right there, and the teen mascots. We love you. We bring them all over the world. And they're retired now, but they come here every Thursday. I love having you guys there from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to me. How many of you love them for me? If you saw the little dog that looks like a biscuit walking around, that's my mom's dog. And none of you can bring your dogs, but she can. Sorry, I did wreck a few of their cars, so this is payback. You can bring your dog in my office. You know? Anyways, so, oh my gosh, I'm off track. Lead generation.
Learn how to ride a bike.
So once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Once you conquer it, oh my gosh, the world's your oyster. So this is the task you are handed to you. You have to, because does it seem like it's hard for me now? It was hard for me at 19 and 20 and 21 when I first got to real estate at 30, 31, and 32, and 33. I didn't understand open houses. What do I say? I literally did them for them. I was a RE/MAX agent using Coldwell Banker open house signs because I was new. I didn't have any. Holding Coldwell Banker listings open because I didn't have any listings. I had to go, and then they do it, and then the people, they just were like, yeah, we got your card, we'll call you. When they go, we have your card, we'll call you. This means I'm being really nice. I'm never going to call you, but I have your card. It's a polite way of saying no and hell no. And so don't worry about handing out your cards. Trust me, I gave out 40 cards. You will not get one call. You have to get their information. So you have to learn. It's a process. But here's the good news. Once you learn it, once you really put your chin out there, once you really put your heart out there, and people will give you one of those across here. They'll say things to you that are mean to your heart. They'll do things like, that sucked. But then you get a little thicker skin, you realize, you know what? There are beautiful, amazing people in life, right? And then there's the others. Is this not true?
Yes.
I promise you, you will meet the others at open houses. You go on listing appointments. I've had people look at me and go, stupid real estate, you guys are like freaking car salesmen, but I guess law says we gotta have you, so come on. I'm like, the good news is I don't gotta have you. And they literally said it to me, what are you talking about? Don't you want to earn a commission? I go, not that bad, bro. I go, you need to work on something going on here. You know? Well, I don't treat my enemies as bad as you just treated me. You don't even know me. I go, I stand up for myself. It takes a little confidence when someone's gonna poop on you or do whatever. You stand up for yourself and go, hey, I'm good. But really? Yeah, really? You know? But you gotta have a little skill. So here's the deal. When we got into EXP and did the rev share thing, attracting agents, I applied the skill, which is like riding a bike or swimming, because I conquered it once. Oh, there it was. Back to Chula Vista. That's what threw me off on the whole advanced guy thing. I remember when I learned to ride a bike in Chula Vista. I don't know, 6, 7 years old, however old you are when you learn to ride. But I remember the asphalt seemed very scary to me. Does anyone remember that? Because you tip over, you're going to take your knees and you're going to get road rash. And it was like, and then your dad or your mom or whoever it is helping you. In my case, my parents were always gone. It was the neighbor. I'm kidding. So they're running along the side of you. You can do it. You're all wobbly, and all of a sudden you kind of find your center of balance. All of a sudden you're just, and you're like, this is amazing! And on Elm Avenue, remember, it was a perfect like quarter mile, and I would ride around and around and around and around. The wind's in your face. I got goosebumps right now. It was Bobby McMain's had a tandem bike. Me and Bobby would be on there for hours, around and around. Woo! Ringing the bell, bing, bing, bing. It's like, this is awesome. We're not getting eaten by the asphalt. It's fun. We have freedom. It's exhilarating. This is what lead generation can be for you. But the problem is you do it a little. And if you do it a little, it's really hard. If you do it really hard, it gets really easy. The harder you do it, I was talking to Kim, she says, I don't believe you can do real estate part-time and really do it justice and succeed at any kind of level. Because she, kudos to you, realized she was very unhappy at a very well-paying job with benefits and automobiles and all the bells and whistles, and she walked away from that job a week ago. And she's like, you know what? I'm better than this. So, but we all, every one of us, you have to face that demon in your life called fear. And the thing that goes, this sucks, and I don't like the way they treated me, and I can't get anyone to respond to me. I couldn't either. But I paid my dues, I figured it out, and we'll mentor you, we'll teach you how to do it, and then you just gotta do it and do it and do it and do it, and all of a sudden, it becomes easy. It's like freaking effortless. Now, it doesn't mean you still have to discipline yourself. And so I carved out 3 hours every Friday from 2 to 5, used my skills like riding a bike or swimming, and I was able to comfortably reach out to agents and not freak out, have a big deal. And James, did we do that every Friday?
Absolutely.
And did it work?
It did.
If you're succeeding at real estate, it's because you're doing open houses, you're door knocking, you're calling the expired, you're doing social marketing, you're involved with the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary, you're asking for referrals, you're actually you're asking, hey, I've been able to sell 3 homes this month. You don't know anyone else. As a matter of fact, my neighbor just mentioned he's going to interview some agents. Man, can you get me an interview? You get me an interview? And because you live in Whitney Ranch, those homes are like $800,000. The commission's $20,000. I will send you, where do you like, Tahoe or Napa? Oh, I love Napa. I will send you to the Archer Hotel in downtown. It's the best hotel of your life. You will fireplaces, and it's just stunning views, rooftop cafe, restaurant. You've never seen anything like it. My tree, any Friday night, you just help me get that listing, get my foot in the door. Because guess what? Now I've just incentivized them to get my foot in the door, and it's $600. How many would pay $600 referral fee to someone to make a $20,000 commission? Anybody here?
Yeah.
So you want to do the famous radio station WIFN. What's in it for me? And you always want to incentivize them and then make notes, okay? And you write it down one night at the Archer, because they'll go back and go, yeah, you said all weekend. You know, $1,200. And I've had people come back and say that. I'm like, oh, okay, you know. So I didn't take the notes. So remember what you're saying, incentivize them, and then ask for the business. I'm telling you, once you whip this demon of fear, and it is fear, it's purely ego. You have all the ego in the world you're willing to risk. Just some of you are so unwilling to risk it, unwilling to discipline yourself. And here's my promise to you. If you don't risk your ego and you don't discipline yourself to do the lead generation, which means, okay, I'm doing open houses for example, if you chose open houses, Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 4, and then I call you and go, hey, I know you're doing open houses, but I've rented a place in Carmel on the water. It's 6,000 square feet. Come on, just pull up that. And you say to me, I live by my calendar. This is my lead generation time. Because even me, I can distract you. But does that sound kind of good on the water? In Carmel, is anybody? Right? We'll go out to dinner, we'll have fun, we'll spend the weekend. And so I see it just all the time. Oh, yeah, I was going to do open house, so I get invited to a house party on the Delta, Lake Shasta. Oh, yeah, I was going to do this, I was going to go door knocking, but it was snowed, there was 2 feet of powder, I didn't get invited to go snowboard, and I went. Okay, listen to me. If you don't discipline yourself and face that demon of fear, you will either A, fail at real estate, B, have a so-so career at real estate, or C, leave real estate and go take a job where somebody will tell you, you will be here at 8, you will be here at 5, and you go, hey, can I go with Brent to a 6,000 square foot home in Carmel that he's renting for the weekend? They go, no, you may not. Hey, can I go, my parents, their 50th year wedding anniversaries, and they're gonna celebrate in Italy. Can I go with them? I need a week off work. Nope, you got 2 weeks paid vacation. You've used them. No, you may not. Because you did not discipline yourself, you will lose freedom. Does that make sense? Yep. End of story. End of story. So what I want to be very clear, what became very clear to me flying home from us in Phoenix on what, Monday and Tuesday?
Yes.
We did golf for 2 golf. It was awesome. 2 rounds. Anyways, so that was Monday. Tuesday we did Scottsdale, Phoenix, Gilbert. We did that. Tons of people. It was great. Wednesday and yesterday, Paso, and tons of people. It was great. Came home, but I'm really thinking about it. What is it? And that, if I could put my finger on one thing, is discipline yourself. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And then go do it with like focus. You try to do lead generation at your desk. Here's the pest report on the deal you have in escrow. Here's the home that isn't appraising. Here's the lead you're supposed to call. Here's the picnic coming up, the Shankakoska thing that's coming up. Oh, my kids have pumpkin, and you're distracted by what's on your desk. How you lead generation is you go over here and you get a desk, and there's your leads and your follow stuff. There's not much to distract me. Do you see that? Are you really thought about what you're doing? Or you can sit there in front of the TV and all of a sudden the wildfires come on from Southern California, and 20 minutes later you're watching people cut through chain link fences like I did at the airport and flee the smoke and fire. And what did that, or you caught the 9th inning of the World Series last night and watched the boring Astros, or the Houston Astros, lose to the boring Nationals, and I sat there watching it too. What did that do for my life? But you know what? So am I making any sense here? Yes. Am I like getting this? Am I getting what I'm about? Yes. You guys feeling it? Yes. And I'm telling you, this is not a mystery. This business is not a mystery. And the cool thing is, I want to say this one more time. When you finally whip that demon, when you look fear in the face and go, you ain't so tough, you're not so bad, and I will overcome you, you'll never be the same again. I made that decision a long time ago, and when I was 19, and did some pretty awesome things. And then I got to real estate at 30, and I had to confront it again. But because I had that experience at 19 where I literally was talking to people and shaking, physically shaking when I was talking to them, I didn't shake so much at 30. And then I figured it out. And then all of a sudden, now, but people say, oh, you've done so well in 3 years. No, I've done really well in 34 years. It wasn't 3 years, it was 34 years. And you got to start, right? Man, I'm excited. You guys excited? I'm excited. I'm really excited. I've had 2 cups of coffee. And I'm fasting. I've had any food and coffee. I'm shooting all coffee grounds. I know, I'm doing the noon to 6 thing. So Alicia, I asked, let's give Brent a hand. Was that awesome? I'm just So Alicia, I asked her to share with you. Come up here with me. You can sit there. And share with you some of the cool new loan programs and options to you. And she actually has a what do you call that? Some sort of exercise.
Yeah, it's a formula to show clients.
Take it away.
So, don't kill me for saying something really fast. But once a month I do a lead generation mastermind. I've generated over 80 plus, 80 is a sucky month for me of warm leads, nothing purchased, for over a decade, easily. And so if you guys are ever interested in how to do that, or where to get started, or what the systems are, by all means drop me your card and I'll invite you. But a lot of us are getting where buyers are nervous. Am I about to make a huge mistake? Is the market gonna crash? I don't wanna do it before houses go down, and all this fun stuff. And they'll ask, and I hear it, is it a good time to buy? Do you guys get that? Is now a good time? So I wanted to show you a super easy formula. The funny thing is I've seen it a million times, had anxiety about it every single time, and then yesterday I'm like, I'm gonna conquer this formula. I did it one time, I'm like, I'm an expert! I've got the formula down. So you'll see how easy it is, and I'd like you guys to write it down because it's 10 times easier when you do it. So basically, if a client asks you that, you can say, sure, let me do a quick little formula for you and show you the benefits of purchasing real estate and how beneficial it is. So if we were just going to use a purchase price of, let's say, $500,000, and that's pretty average, $400,000 to $500,000 right now. And we say to the client, hey, you know that house you really liked at $500,000? I'm going to use a quick analogy for you. If you were to put $50,000 down, and your original investment was $50,000, you are at a 10% original investment. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. So who can tell me how much Placer County appreciated last year? Or year to date? Or the year before? 8? That's what I would have ran with. Do you have any other different numbers?
Yeah, what's up?
8. So whether it's right or not, I tell everybody it's 8. And I say, oh, you know, the average for Placer and Sacramento County has been 8% for the last few years in a row. That's the average. I'm going to be extremely conservative and run with 2%. So if this house only appreciated a measly little 2%, which we all know it's much, much higher, right? 2% per year over 5 years, how much did the person make on this home? 2% per year for 5 years.
50,000?
They made 50,000. They made 10%. So their original balance or original investment was 50,000. So they made 100% of that back. So they made 100% return on their original investment in just 5 years. So if we break that down to an annual return, this client made a 20% annual return. Now, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but who in here in their 401k or their stocks or their investments is making 20% right now?
Nobody.
Nobody! So when we say to the client, I can ensure you're gonna make 20%, or you can say, hey, based on the past, even at an extremely conservative rate of 2%, when we know it's really 8%, you still would make 100% return on your original investment within 5 years. Now, the numbers only get better the less down the person puts.
That's right.
So when they start to look at the real estate as a shelter for this investment of money, and then they start to look at, oh my gosh, I can make 100% return on my investment in just 5 years, then it's not so scary when they're like, well, I'm probably not going to keep it past 5 years anyways, so I can make all my money back. Then, you know, where people will say, oh, well, I might move out of town or in the next couple years. Well, great. In the meantime, you're going to make 100% return on your money until you leave. So, is that helpful?
Awesome.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Is that color what? For those of you watching online, this is Halloween. She's not normally dressed like that, okay? She's an Indian princess, and a very good one. All right. I want to cut bits and pieces of this up and chunk it out in little things, so you may have your own little spot. Is that brilliant?
That's good.
Isn't that good? And this is what helps take you to the next level in what you do. Okay, we have here the Sacramento Business Journal. There are about 500 companies throughout the Sacramento area, independent brokers, and of course you throw in your Sotheby's, your Christie's, your Realty One, HomeSmart, Berkshire Hathaway, Tarot, Remax, Keller Williams, EXP, Coldwell Banker, all these different companies, right? They ranked all the top companies by number of sales. Let's get on the brass tacks. Who is selling the homes in Sacramento? The company's been around in Sacramento doing business for 50, 60, 70 years, okay? And they can only do the top 17 out of like, I think there's over 400 or 500, they said. Top 17 only made the list. So, coming in at number 5, EXP Realty. So, been around for 36 months. Every company on the list above us has been here for 19 years or longer. And we are moving up that thing like nobody's business. And not bad for 3 years. And the companies below us have been around for some of them for 15, 20, 30 years. And we've been here 36 months. This room is full of people because this business is working. Yes?
What publication did you say that was?
This is the Sacramento Business Journal. It is dated on October 25th, 2019. This is hot off the press, I guess last week.
Pass it around.
Yeah, pass it around. Try to take a picture of it. Rob's already getting a picture.
Yeah.
So, but this is not by anything other than pure, like, who's selling homes. And we came, that's pretty extensive. So hats off to all of you. Okay, a couple things. This is a big deal. How many of you can tell me how many homes you're gonna sell how many buyer sides you're gonna do in 2020? Right now, stand up and tell me how many buyer sides you'll do in 2020. Stand up. That's what I thought, nobody. Okay, I'm talking to the agents. We'll get to you in a minute. See, she's ready to stand up now. She's on the loan side, but she knows what she's gonna do next year. There's working in your business, showing property, meeting agents, following up, negotiating requests for repairs, working with the appraiser because they didn't appraise, or getting the roof replaced, or getting the roof repaired, all the stuff we do as agents. But I'm talking about that 30,000 foot elevation. You go, okay, why am I doing? Is it working? What do I need to do different? So how many homes you're gonna list? So how many buyers you're gonna do? You can sell 10 or 15 buyers home. You're gonna list 5 or 10 homes. You go, I'm not listing any homes last year. Maybe you start off with list 7 homes in 2020. Well, how do we do that? The mere goal creates a desire to come up with a plan. You put it in the action, it'll probably happen. So there's this thing called a business plan. And for 2020, we have hired the ex-president of Keller Williams Educational Division, Sean Kokoska. He saw the EXP model. He left Keller Williams. He's now at EXP, and he is teaching business planning for 2020. He'll be here next week. So next Thursday, right here in this room, we will not be here because at 10 a.m. instead of being here, we're going to be at the Placer County Board of Realtors, and from 10 to about James left. Rob, is it 10 to 2? 10 to 2. It is 10 to 2. It's on the flyer. 10 to 2. You need to go register today. This is 4 hours you need to chunk out of your schedule, and you're going to get a business planning workbook, and lunch is provided, which would cost $20, $25. We're flying Sean in. He's bringing his wife. I had to fly him out, fly his wife out. I'm taking them to Napa, poor me, and we're putting them up, and we're gonna wine and dine them. I love this part of the job. But here's the deal. It's super expensive. $25 a person will not even begin to cover our costs. But it does help take care of some of that. Lunch is provided. You get a business planning workbook. You get Sean Kokoska, lots of cool stuff. Be there. This is a big deal. And I want to say the last thing, bring a friend from Coldwell Banker. Bring a friend from Remax. Bring a friend from an independent. You can bring anybody to this event. And honestly, we call them soft recruiting events when they see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of superstar EXP agents and broker associates, and there's music and there's energy, and they come and they get so much value provided. They go, wow, that's what EXP is doing? And think back, I didn't attend anything like this for my brokerage. See, one of the secrets to attracting people to what you're doing is being attractive. It is becoming more valuable than their own broker or their own manager. And just help, and besides, in life, I've been helping people for years. Like Steve Lowatsky is in my business. Do you know that I met with Steve Lowatsky for years, every week, every other week? I buy him lunch every week with zero. I wasn't in EXP. Can't say I did it because of EXP. I did it because it was the right thing to do. The man was asking for help. I met with him and helped him. John, you and Valerie, right? You go, hey, I go, hey, take me up on it. So you called me. and we met. I had no idea Purple Bricks was gonna pull out of the United States. You know, sad for you, happy for me. But at the time, I was like, oh man. But I was the first person they called. Why? Because I was giving to them freely. I am like, hey, if you stay at Purple Bricks, let me help teach you how to do team meetings. Let me help you gather your team together. And so givers win, takers lose. Give, give, give. And bring people to this. Scholarship them. Everyone write down that word. Say, I will scholarship you. I'll pick $25 for someone. And they'll come and they'll be blown away. They may or may not join EXP. If they stay at Remax, if they stay at Lines, if they stay at Berkshire Hathaway or Century 21 or an independent brokerage, that is awesome. We truly want to help them. They have a husband or they have a wife or maybe they're single or maybe they have kids or grandkids. Don't we, in the end, just want to make a living for our family, right? And so you got to come from that part in your heart where you're good with it. You're going to love because the right thing to do is to love. You're going to give because the right thing to do is give. And if you adopt that philosophy in life, you'll be very successful. So this is going on. The next thing I'm going to cover is this. We have our spasmatics. Let's open the flyer here, the thing. So we got a few things. So, oh, by the way, yeah, go back one. Let's go back one. That cool thing. Is that all you have right there?
It's coming out.
It's coming out. So you all have this right here. And do you like, Rob made this, it's like Rio from Brazil, Carnival, I kind of like the look. But it's our important dates for the entire year, 2020. And you'll see Dave Kennord is going to be here the 16th, president of EXP Realty. And he's going to be doing a State of the Union address. That's an important date to save. The 4th through the 9th, we're going to Mexico. Come out, have fun, take a break, don't be all work and no play. 900 of the superstars from EXP are going to be there. You'll meet people selling 400 homes a year. Well, that's intimidating to me. Go, what would you advise me as a new agent to make sales immediately? They go, run this ad. They'll lower the voice. Run this ad on Craigslist. Because you sit right at the pool or the beach. They're from Iowa, they're from Florida. And then you run the ad, and all of a sudden, your phone rings. There's a reason they sell 400 homes a year. They know what ads to run. Now, if you live in Miami and they're in Miami and you go, what ads do I run? They're like, yeah, you'll figure it out. Right? I mean, they're not necessarily going to tell you. But I even say to people, hey, Phil, you're in Denver. I'm in Sacramento. I am not a threat to you. What would be the one thing I could do? What ad? What do I say? Any advice for me? And trust me, they will give you advice. Leonard Fazio, I took him to lunch. Remember that, Dad?
Yeah.
600 sales a year. What advice do you have for me? At the time, I was selling 48 homes a year. The next year, we sold 108. I was like, how does anyone sell more than 48? I'm working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. Made $393,000. It was $19.99. And guess what? The next year, because I learned new things, I never thought of that. Yeah, you need new thoughts, produce new things. And guess what happened? I went from 48 to 108 1 year. It was so easy. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Well, go hang out with people. Mexico would be a great place for you to go. So think about that. Grant Cardone in Las Vegas. What did Michael say? He said, work on yourself. Personal development. That's what Grant Cardone's about. Oh, he's a hype guy. He's this, he's that. Really? Have you been to his events? No. Well, then don't tell me what he has till you've been to one of his events, right? Does that make sense? If you go and he doesn't like it, fine. I've been to events I didn't like, but I've also been to go to Zig Ziglar, John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone. I've been doing this stuff my whole life, and you put yourself together, the rest comes together. When you got holes in your boat, the water's coming in, the ship's going down. So that's Las Vegas. You can get a ticket for probably $80, sit in the nosebleed, but be there and learn and grow. There'll be 10, 15,000 people there, maybe 20,000 people. I went to Tony Robbins. There was a ton of people. It was so incredibly good. Oh, Tony Robbins, the guy who looks like Lurch with big white teeth. You know? Yeah, he was so good. I blew him off for 20 years. Oh, he's I don't know what he is, but he scares me. Literally, as a grown man, he just scares me, And I finally went. It was outstanding. I go, I'm not walking on the dumb fire. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm not. And I did. But I mean, I'm just like, you don't have to do it. But I'm telling you, it was outstanding. Have you been? No, I haven't been. Then don't tell me about Tony Robbins. You've been. I'm telling you, it's science, and it was phenomenal. It was really good. It was life-changing. James went with me. Look at him. Look how serious he is. Yeah, look at that face. There's me, I'm like, look at Daisy blowing in the wind. James, what's James? What is James? He's like a Sherman tank. He's just like serious, he's organized, he's tough, and he's a show me. Like, I'm not, but I drug him there. And how good was it?
Oh, it was amazing. I've been twice now. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Go, change, work on yourself. So we have these in front, some important dates for the year you can plug into. Our annual Christmas party for everybody at EXP works. This venue holds 1,000 people, and it is kind of a outdoor rock concert situation. there's some, right?
It's a dive bar.
It's a
dive bar, pretty much.
Rough environment.
We didn't quite realize what I had booked, but I've now spent $12,000 on this of my own money, and we're going. Okay? But I don't drink. Learn to drink. No, I'm kidding. Water, tea, Pepsi. No, seriously, you do not have to drink. But if you want a cold beer or whatever, fine. This is not going to be a get slammed at Brent's Christmas party, because I personally will bounce you out of the place. Okay? But we're going to have a great time. The Spasmatics is my favorite. If you like 80s music, and if you don't like 80s music, then you're at the wrong place. I don't know what to tell you. You've fallen off a truck and hit your head. 80s music is the greatest music of all time. This is an 80s tribute band. I've never done anything like this. They're my favorite 80s tribute band. They are like, when they do Michael Jackson or Van Halen or The Who or Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger's on stage. It doesn't kind of sound like Mick Jagger. It is Mick Jagger. They do a Michael Jackson song. He's like, oh, that kind of sounds like Michael Jackson. No, it is Michael Jackson on the stage. These guys are that talented, and it cost me like $12,000 for 3 hours. And come, it's going to be a blast. So this is December 14th, 4 to 7. Our annual, it's a little different, it's a little edgy. We didn't realize how edgy it was, but that's Folsom. Folsom's harmless. We have found the seediest part of Folsom and did not know it. And they're like, we're only playing here. You want us? This is where we are. We're like, well, yeah, I want you. We'll go. I mean, how bad can it be?
We're just
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing. It's fun. You just need a shower after you leave, okay? I'm kidding. I know I'm doing the old under promise over deliver. Anyways, so they just go through the, I don't want to even get into all that. There's all kinds of cool stuff. I believe that's everything we have there. So I'm going to wrap up today with any Q&A. Anything on your mind about the market, about buyers, sellers, question about loans, something Alicia said, question for Alicia, for me, anything goes. Somebody chum the water, start the first question, and we'll do 2, 3, 4 questions before we wrap up today. Fire away. Who's got a question about a situation, negotiating requests for repairs? You're trying to get a buyer to perform, they won't perform. You have an electrical issue, plumbing, windows, any questions? I'm gonna let you guys go. You can't just sit
I have
there.
one.
Thank you, Raul.
Yeah, I was at another meeting talking about the industry, and they're talking about there's a lot of expired listings coming. Do you see that as a trend?
Yes, because the market's crowning and sellers get frustrated and they fire their agent and they go, the listing goes expired, and then people, here's what they think, well, we'll go back on in the spring. So that's the big wave of expired listings that aren't selling right now. I used to think the market was gonna just go into a correction mode, but with the lack of housing, the rents sky high, everyone's so freaked out, they enacted rent control, and the sheer numbers of people, like, I think I heard that number was like 28,000 a year leaving the Bay Area, and the majority of those are coming to Sacramento for affordable housing. Like, our housing is not affordable. Can you get a nice house for $600,000 in this town?
Yeah.
Do you know what you can get in San Jose for that?
Nothing.
Nothing. You get a parking space.
She should.
So they're just, yeah, you get a she-shed.
So the
And
expired listing would be opportunity then, right?
yeah, expired listings are people who want to sell. And so you're like, well, they all got called. Yeah, but they don't want to sell now. They're going to try again in the spring. So what you want to do, if you're going to do expired listings for lead generation, you want to get lists from the title company. There's ways to get them. Barry Mathis around the wall, he's in a iBuyer certification program. He's being here right now. They only do it Thursdays during my team meeting. So if you ever do that, you have to skip the team meeting to get certified. But he would teach you how to get those, and you call them. And so who's a good person to call? People who went off the market in September, October, November, December, January. They go, we'll go back on in April. So you want to call them in March. You can start literally calling in March, and you got tons of people there. You will get listings. If you think about it, I promise you this, you will not get listings. I've thought about a lot of diets. It doesn't work, right? you gotta be, I'm gonna say it. James, James saw my notes. I have a little talk I'm doing the other day. I go, you gotta be a duck. And he looked at me and he said, you gotta be a duck? I go, yeah, you gotta be a duck. And he didn't ask me what it was. You know what it is? You know what
I
it
thought I
is?
heard
Why
you
you
say
gotta be
it
a duck?
I heard
You
you
heard
say it
it.
on Monday about the under the water.
Yeah, so duck on the surface is very elegant and beautiful and calm, and they kind of move under the water like, their little feet are like jamming. And so you gotta be a duck. You gotta hustle and get it going. Then you're calm with them, but underneath you are just going. You're not calling 4 or 5 people an hour. If you're following people, call 10, 15, 20. Leave messages, call me, it's important. You're next. And you're focused because you're staring at a white wall. You'll make 2, 3, 4 calls and you'll watch a YouTube clip. Or your phone goes, and you'll go, oh, what's that? Ooh, the Kincaid fires, 70% under containment. What does that got to do with it, right? Oh, God, there's a standoff in Stockton. Really? Shocker, right? Right? I mean, it's like, what you've allowed yourself to do is to be interrupted. You must put your phone on airplane mode. You must remove distractions. I just beg you, if you will just get this, the world is yours. So you can do some pretty cool things. We're living it right now. We are absolutely living it. So excited to be in business with you guys. I love you a bunch. So next Thursday, no team meeting. We will be where? PCAR, Placer County Board of Realtors. Sign up today if you've not signed up, because you're going to get locked out of this thing. Please sign up. Raise your hand if you've signed up yet. Raise your hand. Okay, the other half of you need to sign up. You need to be there. 10 to 2.
Bring
and then
people.
Scholarship people. Scholarship them. Hey, you need to come to this. It'll help you. It doesn't matter. We're not talking about EXP. It's all business planning. We won't even mention the word EXP. It won't even be mentioned. It's business planning. You can leave with the workbook, lunches provided. I scholarship you. I want you to have a great year at Lions. I want you to have a great year at Century 21. Really? Yeah, come. Okay, I'll come. I mean, you're calling your friends, people you know. They'll come. And guess what? They'll maybe not immediately, but maybe next spring, they'll go, you know what? I think I do want to check out your company. And then you get stock and you start earning some rev share. So that's down the road. That's icing on the cake. But did I cover everything? I think so. So the next team meeting we'll have will be 2 weeks from today at 10 a.m. Okay? 2 weeks from today, 10 a.m. will be the actual one. I think that's everything. We're good? We're good? Have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Oh, 11 o'clock. I finished on time. Yes.